Welcome to Your Health is Your Wealth. My name is Argo Duenas, and I'm your host for today. I'd like to take this opportunity to wish you and your family a very happy, healthy, prosperous, and joy-filled new year. And I'm really excited about this new year. Why? Because God has blessed us with another year to regenerate our mind, our body, and our spirit. But this is what I know. Life is fleeting, fragile, and precious. So let us set the intention this year, because many of us didn't make it, didn't cross over this year, to keep in touch with our loved ones and our family and our friends. You know, the most important thing is love. And that's why I'm here today, because I have so much love and respect for this woman, my next guest. Her name is Pastor Cheryl. She is the pastor of Light of the World Family Ministries in Glen Burnie. She is here today to usher us into an amazing new year, and to share her story, her life-changing story of how she triumphed over tragedy. She overcame adversity by practicing spiritual principles and keeping hope and faith alive in her life. Welcome, Pastor Cheryl.
Thank
God
you
bless
so much. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you for taking time out from your busy schedule.
Only for you.
God bless you. Well, today is a new day. And today is your day, because I believe, Pastor Cheryl, that your story and your journey is so compelling. It's going to touch somebody today. It's going to empower somebody today to take charge of their life and their health. Can you give us some background on who is Pastor Cheryl?
Well, I grew up in West Palm Beach, Florida. My father was actually Caribbean, and he was also a pastor. I transferred here because I was an executive with AT&T Telephone Company, and we had some friends that were here at that time. After coming here, I made a decision that this is where I really wanted to live. It wasn't like that at first, but I love the area. And I saw that this was a plan. I didn't come here, I was assigned here.
Well, actually, we lived in the same community, yes. Knightsbridge, yes. And that was way back in the 80s. Yes. And you know, nothing is by accident. Absolutely. It's all by divine design. Absolutely. Now, Pastor Cheryl, tell us about your amazing church and the awesome work that you have done for over 20 years with our youth here in Annapolis, because I know my granddaughter was involved with Gems and Jewels. Yes, and you had a mentoring program. Absolutely. And you actually invited me to come in. Yes, several times, more than several times, yes. To work with the young people. So, you know, I just love you, and I know that God within you is alive and real, and He's on a mission to use you in a mighty way. He's already doing it. So tell us about the outreach programs. Absolutely. And educational programs you have here.
I came here as a transfer from AT&T. Mm-hmm. Actually, it was a Southern Bell system. But after getting here for a while, I made a decision. I was contacted by someone, Ms. Ellis, as a matter of fact, about a need for mentoring programs. And we started at Bates Middle School, and actually that's been 20 years ago. Wow. So we started the Gems and Jewels program 20 years ago, and then shortly thereafter we were contacted about the YES program. And our programs for Gems and Jewels and YES were through Anne Arundel County, the Partnership for Children, Youth, and Families. And we're very excited about it because we also work with the Health Department, the City of Annapolis, Mayor's Office, the Governor's Office for Children, Youth, and Families, county executives, I think I said, and the school system. We have an MOU with the Anne Arundel County School System. So we actually do mentoring and educational programs on the campus. We did move, after my husband's death, which was 3 years ago, this coming March, my home, we relocated to Glen Burnie, Maryland. There were a lot of things that were going on, and we made a decision. However, we never left Annapolis because we're in Robin Wood. We have an adolescent recovery clubhouse there. We're on Phoenix Center Academy campus, and we still work with the students and the families and do strengthening families programs here for Anne Arundel County. We're in Glen Burnie, but we also have Brooklyn Park, Lindale Middle, and we also work with the homeless. We do winter relief.
Oh, I do remember that.
Yes.
I do remember that. Now, your recovery, that clubhouse down
yes.
in Robinwood.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about that, because we have an epidemic of heroin
Yes, we do.
overdose
Yes.
here in the county.
Well, let me share with you that a marvelous job, a wonderful job, and I think we are, Anne Arundel County are like stellar when it comes to the heroin epidemic. We work with the county executive office, Nancy Schrum. She does a remarkable job for Not My Child. But behavioral health contacted us. Well, didn't necessarily contact us, but we wrote for a grant because the 21401 zip code and the Brooklyn Park zip code has the highest amount of children ages 12 to 17 with mental health and co-occurring disorders of substance abuse. Wow. So behavioral health, we were able to secure a grant through them that has helped us, along with the city of Annapolis, has provided some mini grant funding as well. And we work with ASAP, Serenity Sisters. I mean, she's a hero. She's my hero, Angel Trainer. Here, and we have a program that the third Tuesday of every month from 12 to 2 that we're actually at the Annapolis City Police Department holding our coalition meeting. And while I'm talking about it, we're looking for anyone who would join and would be a part of that coalition to help.
So this is more a volunteer?
Yes, yes it is.
Wonderful. You're doing an amazing job, Pastor Cheryl, and you're making a tremendous difference in the community. Now, I also know you've had some health issues yourself. Can you share with our viewers, I know about 5 years ago, you were diagnosed with cancer.
Yes.
What was your reaction when you were diagnosed?
Actually, my daughter was with me. There were some other things that were going on at the time, and so we weren't looking for the cancer. But I had a tumor to fall out of me. Yeah.
Let's go back to
okay.
that. A tumor.
Yes, and that's how
that's
we found
scary.
it. Yes, it is. That's how we
scary.
found the cancer. We did several seasons with A&E Television for the children program that was dealing with children who had gotten into some trouble. Okay. And so therefore we were doing a session, and then I had this excruciating pain. Long story short, turns out that they thought it was, when they got me to the hospital, they thought I had a prolapsed uterus,
right.
But it was actually a tumor. It was in my hand. It did not, of course, actually leave my body, but that's how they found out. And the wonderful doctors that I have here in the Annapolis area, then my gynecologist made a decision to do just a DNC when they found out it was a tumor. Right. And then they made a decision, let's go and check the rest of you. And when we checked the rest of me, we found out that I actually
had atypical cells.
Yes, yes. And so was sent to a radiologist, did the mammogram, found out that there was something there. They came back, did an actual biopsy, and found out that I had aggressive invasive cancer.
Wow. So Pastor Cheryl, I was there.
Yes, you were.
I was there.
You were the one.
I was
yes,
there.
you were.
And I witnessed something that I've never seen in my life before. I saw you on your sick bed, literally get up after having a total hysterectomy and deal with this breast cancer. Yes. I mean, it was like God gave you supernatural power,
and He did,
to transcend all of this.
Yes.
I mean, because for some people, mentally, some people couldn't even deal with that. I can empathize with you, but I have never been in your shoes, so I can't really relate as to, I saw, but to go through that mentally, physically, and spiritually. I know there's a God.
Yes, there is. And I feel like He just took my heart and held it in His hand because of the fact of what I was dealing with. As you said, I had a total hysterectomy one day. 2 days later, I was in the oncologist's office to start search for the chemo, radiation, all of those things. But my faith is what has kept me and held me. I could not exist without my faith and belief. And I don't harass or whatever, bully people about whatever they believe, but my faith has kept me and has kept me alive. We were planning my funeral because we saw no way. I've even picked out my dress. You were there. You know all the things that took place. The chemotherapy is unbelievable.
What were some of the side effects?
Oh my goodness. Of course, anything that I really like to eat, they told me never eat it again until this was all over. It just made you just, hey, there are other physical ailments as far as what has happened now with I have peripheral neuropathy in my fingers and my feet, bones, sore, just the loss of all of my long, beautiful hair that I had. Everything that you can think of, but you have to be careful that you don't enter into depression,
right?
Because that is so prevalent with persons. Because when you hear the word cancer, you automatically say, "Okay, I have a death sentence." For a lot of people,
but it's not.
But it's not, and it's working on some things. Like for me, it was forgiveness. Right. I was a very high stress person. I suffered from depression, and I'm able to mask it. You were able to mask it, but until I really found out who I was, what I was, God just helped me so much. It's my faith. It's my faith that has kept me and kept me alive. And I just want to encourage people that don't listen to all of that stuff that goes on in your head or take advice from people. Well, I wouldn't do that, but you're not me, so you don't know what I would or would not do.
So you actually have a YouTube video.
Yes.
You know, speaking about, or just sharing your journey.
Right.
And you were saying that when you were diagnosed, you didn't tell a lot of people.
No, I did not.
You know, I read an article many, many years ago of a woman who was diagnosed with breast cancer. Mm-hmm. She never told anyone. Mm-hmm. She never told her family. She never told her friends. She went through that process, right. Okay? She continued to go to work. She got her chemo. She got her radiation, and she overcame. Mm-hmm. Now, you were saying that you didn't share it with a lot of people.
No, I didn't.
Okay. Tell us why.
Well, actually, for that very same reason that people feed into things. I didn't want sympathy. I'm not a sympathy person. Right. You don't have to go, oh, no, that's not me. You got to get up and fight. I've been fighting all of my life. I just turned 66 years old, and I've been fighting all of my life. Mm-hmm. And this journey, and I call it my journey, and you and I talked about that, right. Being a journey, was something that took me from a lower place to a higher yes. place, because I simply saw miracles mm-hmm. take place in my life. And I continue to see them, even with the death of my husband and us having to move. We moved into a better yes. place. It's yes. absolutely beautiful. Absolutely. We're doing so many other things that people, against all odds, yes. people who had written me off, mm-hmm. written our church off, written everything off, and just glory. Watch what God has done. And it's only because of faith yes. and trusting Him.
And keeping hope alive.
Absolutely.
You know, I was watching a PBS program. There was an African-American female medical doctor from Harvard, mm-hmm. and she was saying that when we are challenged with different types of health challenges, right. it really can be a gift.
Yes.
Because it really gives us an opportunity to go within, because we're more than just a physical body. We have a mental, emotional, and spiritual body. Absolutely. And when any of those bodies get out of balance, then we can create disease. Mm-hmm. She says it's not what we eat, not even what we absorb. She says it's our feelings, absolutely. Our emotions that are so trapped, absolutely. So deep. Mm-hmm. Unresolved issues of not feeling good enough, not feeling loved, low self-esteem, or holding on to anger, as you were saying, yes. unforgiveness. And I believe that we're all are on this journey to heal the holes in our souls.
Absolutely.
We all come here to heal,
right.
and we all have a testimony. So when you were diagnosed, did you also seek out a holistic practitioners?
You, and also and you connected me with Dr. Stephanie, which was so important, because one of the things that you're saying is so apropos is the fact that we don't really realize who we are. Mm-hmm. We have allowed people's words and experiences to shape us to become something they wanted us to be, as opposed to who it was that we were intended to be. Because before we were formed, there was a plan. Jeremiah 1:5 says there was a plan that was for our lives. How many of us are missing out on the plan that was originally
Praise God.
intended.
Now you are really going deep. You're going deep into the soul and the spirit of who we truly are.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, I can remember when I was younger too. You know, your parents have certain expectations of you, and if you don't meet those expectations, then you take on guilt and shame and so forth and so on.
Absolutely.
So then that critic in your head will set up
Wow.
situations, experiences, and people to actually punish you and
Absolutely.
validate those negative beliefs. So I believe that we all came here to heal on
exactly
some
right.
level. And you said your life has been the better.
Absolutely.
As a result.
So much. I am not the person post-cancer that I was pre-cancer. I am stronger. I am wiser. I used to break down and cry for anything. Anybody said anything about me, I cry and I'd be so upset. And now it's like, bring it on. Because the more I see that it's done to me, I see I get better. I know who I am. And once you learn who you are, no one can change that.
That's right. That's right. Now, what about diet? Let's talk about diet, because we do have a physical
Yes,
body, so we
yes.
need to take care of the body temple. How has your diet
My
changed?
diet has changed. You helped me a lot as well. I am doing much better. I have someone now who actually provides meals for me.
Okay,
And
awesome.
so he's a chef, a cordon bleu chef, Sam Brown, who is amazing. So he's teaching me also, as you have done, how to eat and do better. Do I cheat? Yes. Do I make mistakes? Absolutely. But I'm more conscious. I'm taking vitamins, things that we've learned about selenium and different things to help our body to do better. And one thing I didn't do, I'm learning how to take care of me.
Praise God.
I rest.
That is so important.
I have started to rest, because if we don't rest, we don't allow our bodies to heal. And I do have a psychologist who's a part of our church, Tina, who actually gets on me about not sleeping. So I've been changing that as well. So
That
it's
rest
been amazing.
piece is so
It's so
important.
important. Yes,
because
it is.
I'm nocturnal, so I can stay up to 1, 2 o'clock
too.
in the morning.
Yeah.
But I do know that when we go into that deep REM stage, the body is able to restore and
Absolutely.
repair and heal itself. So I have to remind myself, Pastor Cheryl. Okay, Argo. When I lay down, when I go to bed, my body says, "Oh, thank you, thank you. Why didn't you get in bed earlier?" But it's so important. So we know that sugar feeds cancer.
Yes.
We talked about that. In fact, I have you probably know Dr. Harris, Curtis Harris,
Yes, yes, yes.
well-known African-American oncologist here in Annapolis for about 40 years. And he really encourages people to stay away from sugar because it fuels and feeds cancer.
Yes.
So eating live whole foods, real foods, not junk foods and fast foods, right? Staying away from sodas and fried foods.
Right.
In fact, we're going to be doing some health presentations at your church.
Absolutely.
With a
Looking forward
Dr.
to
Stephanie
it.
Reed, who was
Yes.
just on. I believe Bruce has been running her show, and she's a phenomenal woman out of
Absolutely.
Baltimore. So now, what are some other things that we can do to nurture our spirit, nurture our bodies, and nurture our minds? You talk about mindset and belief systems.
This sounds really weird, but separating yourself from negative people, they feed into, people actually have an ability to transfer the negativity, their unresolved issues onto you.
Yes.
And you have to be very careful about that. And don't feel bad about saying no. Okay,
Absolutely.
I have, the other thing is having a great support system. When my husband died, my children, all of them went through this process, and but family is so important. So they're all back with me now at the ministry. They went on their
praise
own
God.
little journey.
Oh, I remember that.
But
Yes.
I'm excited about that. Taking care of you. I also am a big proponent of not getting into debt. So sometimes that was my issue. Not that I had debt, because that's not me. I'm not a debt person. But I would go and buy and buy and buy things. I buy for everybody else. You're trying to buy and you're giving and da-da-da-da.
Yes.
Love you. Love God. Take care of yourself. Take yourself on out to, with my husband gone, and we've known each other all of our lives.
How long were you all married?
Oh, we were married 34 years.
Wow. And Pastor Frank was so
Yes,
loving.
absolutely.
He had such a humble
Yes, he
spirit.
did.
We all love
Yes, he
Pastor
did.
Frank.
And and I've known him all of my life. And one of the things is
Was he your childhood sweetheart?
Yes, he was, but of course he left me for somebody else. But anyway, we won't talk about that. Anyway, but having that relationship and having relationships in your lives, and that's another thing, keeping people out of your marriage and your relationships. It's just so very, very important. But those some of the things, and so I've learned now how just to take care of me, and that is what is important, to take care of me. But I take care of so many other wonderful people. I have the most wonderful church family on the planet.
Well, you talk about one of the greatest gifts that we can give to ourselves as well as each other. Well, number one is forgiveness.
Yes.
Expound on that.
Okay. Being from a Christian background, forgiveness actually comes from a word that means to let go. So when we're not able to forgive, we can create sickness and disease in our own body, because our thought processes now are believed to cause about 80 to 90% of all of our sicknesses and diseases.
So it's psychosomatic?
Yes. Well, what it does is it gives people power over you that causes chemicals like cortisol or whatever to flow in your body from stress and different things that take place. And we got to learn how to know that forgiveness is a gift to yourself. You don't have to reconcile with people, but you do have to forgive. Okay.
Well, look, I want to share this with you because I think this is important for me to share it with the viewers as well. My grandmother, she passed away probably about 30 years ago, longer than that. We had an argument the night before she passed, Pastor Cheryl. I was in nursing school.
Wow.
And I blamed myself for years for her death. I took on guilt, shame. Eventually, as I got older and wiser and prayed about it, and I found out she wasn't taking her blood pressure medication and she only had one kidney, that I had to forgive myself because I set myself up for a lot of pain and suffering subconsciously because of the guilt and the shame. So for me, forgiving yourself is so important.
Absolutely.
Another thing you talk about, we only have a few minutes left, is unconditional love.
Yes.
We've got to love one another.
Absolutely. The Bible says that, and that's my book, it says, by this will all men know that you're my disciples if you have love one for another. Right. And so you can do a lot of things, but if you don't have love, you can love the people that don't love you.
Praise God.
That's my gift to me.
Praise God.
In the position we're in with all the programs that we run and things, that I'm under attack all the time. But I learned how to love, and I've seen the blessings that come when you love. Right. Irregardless of what anyone says about you, don't give anyone that kind of power over your life. Don't allow anybody to blame you for their own maladies or their, that's one of the first things that Adam did. He blamed Eve, Eve blamed the serpent. We're just so used to blaming people
instead
for things.
Responsibility
for what you do.
Praise God. Praise the Lord. Well, I've got to make an announcement for a workshop that's going to be held in Odenton. And Bruce, you're my videographer, and I can say this on the air. Give me a minute, because I got to go to my cell phone. This is another attachment here. This is going to be revolutionary here, but I've got to do it. So any way I can get this message out, I'm going to get it out today. It is so important. Our mission is to reduce and decrease human suffering.
Wow.
That is our mission. And we're on a mission to save lives, save our community, and save ourselves, and especially our children.
Yes.
So this free health and wellness presentation will be done at Mahai's beauty salon, believe it or not. Dr. Willie Richardson, he is on fire.
Wow.
This is why we got to bring Dr. Richardson to your church.
Excellent.
To touch, move, and inspire people to take charge of their life and their health. The address is 1692 Annapolis Road in Odenton. And it's January the 21st at 3 p.m. You can call Miss Gilda Booth at 443-474-4995. That number again is 443-474-4995, Gilda Booth. free health and wellness presentation. Pastor Cheryl, you're going to have the final words here. Please speak from your heart, as I know that you always do, and give us a message for today.
The message for today is learning how to believe that everything works together for the good.
Praise God.
For them who love God and are called according to His purpose. And understand that we all are called. No one is better than anyone else. That is so very important to me. I see it with our children and the conditions that a lot of them live in, who they feel like they're less than and they have to go to this or to use drugs or sell or whatever. That is not the truth. And so therefore, when we know who we are, no one can change us or switch us, and we all can be better and learn how to work in our purpose and our potential.
Praise God. We all have a divine purpose.
Yes, we do.
And a divine plan.
Yes, we do.
Thank you so much, Pastor Cheryl.
Thank
God bless you. I
you.
love you.
Bless you.
And thank you for watching Your Health is Your Wealth. Remember, in this very present moment, we do have the power to take charge of our life and our health. God bless you. Happy New Year. And thank you, Bruce. God bless you. Have a great day.